Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Our Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, along with Amazon, Audible, Apple, Anchor FM, and more. Make sure you take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful singer, songwriter, multi-talented musician from Brooklyn, New York. He's a piano-based alternative songwriter from Brooklyn. He's an outspoken bipolar advocate and also an outspoken gay artist, and just an amazing combination he has. He's got a great life story to tell, and his quote is, "When pianos try to be guitars," and he's got a great example on that. He's got some great music live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Brooklyn. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented singer-songwriter and the very fantastic Brett Gleason. Brett, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I will take good evening for this.
Well, we are 24/7, 365, so it doesn't matter what they're saying. It could be a good evening in Los Angeles, maybe New York, Toronto, or even in Tokyo, Paris. I mean, you never know. It could be good morning for them. So we are global, and thanks for being on as well, too. And you're a piano-based alternative songwriter from Brooklyn, outspoken bipolar advocate, and outspoken gay artist as well, too. And, of course, you speak for the community. And your quote is, "When pianos try to be guitars." You got your self-titled debut. You also got Manifest, Jealousy, and a lot more. And before we talk about those, tell us how you first got started, Brett.
I started playing music at a really young age. I grew up with a speech impediment, and I had a lot of trouble doing kind of group activities. I had a lot of trouble engaging in school, and I think my parents were really kind of forward thinking, and they got me started doing, art and piano lessons, but also kind of solo sport activities like gymnastics. And by the time I was a teenager, I was a competitive gymnast. I was a very serious piano player, guitar player, and clarinetist. And, I started writing songs when I was at the age of 13. And I could speak by then, but I still had trouble really connecting with other people and communicating kind of deeper feelings. And especially seeing as I was really caught up in the world of literature, being able to write lyrics that I could take time thinking about and being able to perform it in a planned kind of theatrical setting was really something that appealed to me and helped me communicate in a way that in my daily life I just couldn't.
And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into what you're doing today? What was that one precise moment for you?
Honestly, like I can't remember what instigated it, but I just knew like there was something that hit me at 13. There was a Smashing Pumpkins album that had come out, and I just heard it, and I didn't know that music could be so intensely personal and just connect so deeply. And I felt these really intense feelings, and I knew that recreating those feelings and helping other people feel them and just reach across that divide was what I was meant to do also. It felt like a really big feeling, and it felt kind of pompous of me at 13 to have these feelings, and I didn't share them with anyone, but I knew that was what I was supposed to do.
Okay. And who are some of your favorite artists, singers, musicians, growing up besides the Smashing Pumpkins?
Sure. I mean, like my big influences are, either like kind of alternative rock bands like that, or really kind of like personal singer-songwriters. So the other one that's really huge for me, who I discovered at that age also, was Tori Amos, who's a piano-based singer-songwriter. So, like Tori Amos and Fiona Apple were kind of my main intimate songwriters, but then the Smashing Pumpkins and other kind of larger than life bands. And I really wanted to be able to take the intimate kind of songwriting that I really enjoyed, that felt really personal, but I also loved these big, huge emotions that could really just really energize you, and I wanted to sort of somehow fuse those two things. So it was sort of that's been my goal in music, to be able to play solo intimately, but then take the same songs and put them up with the big band and make that transition.
And besides having some of those feelings based in your lyrics, what else do you base your lyrics on?
It's a good question. I mean, a lot of times the lyrics are things that come to me through, I would say, in my dreams, but they're just things that get stuck in my head. Sometimes they're mantras that I repeat to myself to calm myself down, to get myself through tough spots. Things that I say over and over they're lessons that I need to learn. They're soothing things that I need to say to remind myself, and I'll say it over and over again until it becomes a melody. A lot of times
Oh,
my songs are like things that I need to learn and to teach myself, and they're sort of goals for personal things that I need to become and to strive for. Like the album Manifest, that was like a new way of thinking and feeling and being that I wanted to be, and it was sort of like the next phase of who the person I wanted to manifest. So like I journal a lot, but it doesn't really come from that. It comes from like I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a line stuck in my head, and I'll grab my phone and sing into it and save it. So
oh,
it's a lot of subconscious stuff. But
wow.
then when I'm awake and lucid, I'll pull on that thread until it's done.
I was going to say, I should start doing that. Pick up a phone and start speaking through it. I like that idea. I really like it.
Uh, it's great because like you don't always have time to sit down and illuminate an idea, but that's a lot of time that's when inspiration strikes. So having voice memos on your phone or any sort of app like that, I always have a good 6 or 7 melodic ideas that are ready to be fleshed out when I do have the time to sit down and really properly create.
hmm And
So I
we'll talk.
block.
Wow, that is amazing. We'll talk about your self-titled debut, Manifest, Jealousy, and more of your music in just a minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms, including Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Check the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here, singer, songwriter, multi-talented musician Brett Gleason out of Brooklyn, New York, here on the Mike Wagner Show. He's a piano-based alternative songwriter, outspoken bipolar advocate, and outspoken gay artist as well. And he'll be playing some songs for us in just a minute or so. And you mentioned about being bipolar as well. And, tell us a little bit about it. And how'd you first get detected as bipolar?
That's a good question. So, I mean, I was misdiagnosed as having unipolar depression, and I was medicated for that. And when you are medicated for depression and you're bipolar, it throws you into a really intense manic phase. And it was my first semester of college, and I was away, and I wasn't sleeping. I was really struggling. I didn't know how much I was struggling, to be honest. But I wasn't able to really form thoughts properly because I was thinking too fast. I struggled a lot with work, and I wasn't really making it through the semester until some of my roommates on the floor pointed out to some people at the college that I was having strange behavior. I was pulling my hair out. I was extremely antisocial, but then had rapid fire speech that was irrelevant to the conversation when they did speak with me. And so I ended up having to be hospitalized for bipolar disorder, detoxed off the meds that I was on. And then it was only then that I was properly diagnosed. And it took about 6 months to a year to get on the right kind of medication that I needed. So, I had I think like most people, you sort of wait until it's too late to really get properly diagnosed, and then you get kind of thrown into treating the most obvious symptoms. Whereas, from 13 on, I was experiencing kinds of anxiety and, elements of despair and extreme loneliness, but I was really keeping it to myself until by the time that I really did seek out help, it was just such extreme feelings of just I was in such a state that I really couldn't explain exactly what was going on with me, and so it was just trial and error, to be honest.
What is the difference between unipolar and bipolar depression? I've never.
Well, I mean,
to be honest with you.
Sure. Excuse me for using technical language. That's a great question. Depression is, I don't want to say like common depression, because it's basically, bipolar, you experience some sort of, depressive state, which tends to be experienced more as like a down place. You might consider it like sad. Whereas the other end is mania, which is more, more energetic. Sometimes it's, a more upbeat phase. I tended to have more dysphoric mania, which was a really kind of negative but energetic state. So bipolar disorder, you kind of have two ends. Sometimes they're mixed, whereas unipolar depression is what we tend to think of as more of like a standard depression, which is, awful in itself and absolutely debilitating. But so I was diagnosed with that. And when I was medicated for just that end, it threw me into the other spectrum. And that was when they were like, oh, he's experiencing that too, but we didn't know it because I couldn't express it. I couldn't communicate it. I was kind of a little too far gone by then to really understand what was happening.
Okay. And how do people get help and reach out?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I think that now, I'd like to think that now most people are a little bit more fluid in our understanding of mental illness, and there are more opportunities. To be honest, like when I was looking for help, I kind of just went to my primary care physician, which you can do. You can speak to your primary care physician. You can just reach out on your own to a therapist. You can kind of find a psychiatrist on your own. When I was 13, I originally just reached out and told my mother, which honestly wasn't too super helpful, because she experiences a lot of these things as well. And so it just sort of seemed like, oh, well, of course, we're all experiencing this. So, there's a lot of places you can call just to get help now. And I think there are a lot more resources. It kind of depends who you are, where you are, what your level of comfort is, but you can do like text, or I don't recommend text therapy, but you could do, phone therapy, video therapy. But if you're in a really, desperate state, then you need to go to the emergency room sometimes.
Okay. All right. So basically with the music as well too, and it cures that too. And we'll talk about your albums as well too, and we'll play it for you. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms, including Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here, singer, songwriter, multi-talented Brett Gleason out of Brooklyn, New York, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And looks like Brett's going to be playing something for us, either from the self-titled debut, off of Manifest, or Jealousy. And you can go ahead and play something for us, Brett.
Sure, I would love to. So I'm actually going to play something that I'm working on right now for my third record, which I'm putting together. So I have 2 full-length records, and then Jealousy is sort of a few rock songs I've been working on for my third record. But I feel like playing a bit of a love song. I thought that would be nice. I'm here alone in my home, which I think a lot of us are these days. And I felt like playing something a little bit softer. So So the song is called Real Love. It's about what my version of love is. So I'm curious if that resonates with any of you. I don't need anything from you. I love you. I don't need anything taken care of. So beware of any trying or hoping that I'll need. You're crying, so love me and believe me when I say I won't change. I'm not looking to be swept off my feet. I'm just looking to stand strong. I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm looking for real love. I don't know if I keep on falling, rewarding this exchange, embrace where I fall, and I take seduction, distraction. I trap you, attract you. My love's true, but I'm see-through. And when I try, I fail to run. Not looking to be swept off my feet. I'm just looking to stand strong. I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm looking for real love. I don't think that I need, but I might want to stay. What I want, what I need, not always the same thing. I'm not looking to be swept off my feet. I'm just looking to stand strong. I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm looking for real love. But are you looking to be swept off your feet? Or can you also stand strong? I don't want to disappoint you and your needs. Are you looking for real love? Are you looking for real love?
That is fantastic. Wow. Brett Gleason here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, what's the name of that song and where can we find it?
That song is called Real Love, and it is not released yet.
Well, it's going to be really soon. I'm sure people are going to be demanding, knocking on your door, saying, release it, release it. Yeah.
Well, go to my website and just shoot me your email, and you'll be one of the first people to hear it.
Sounds good. We will do that. And also, let's talk about your self-titled debut, Manifest, Jealousy, and more. And tell us about some of those albums as well, too.
Sure. So, I mean, both of the albums are really different. The first album, the self-titled one, it's a bit harsher, it's a bit darker. It has some more like electronic elements. I wrote that album. I mean, going back to my story, I wrote that album kind of like, when I was dealing with the fallout of recovering from, some really intense episodes of bipolar disorder, and really kind of just trying to keep myself together and move on with my life. And so it's really self-reflective, but it's also very much like at battle with myself. There's a lot of sort of internal conflict, and it's really kind of a lot of harsher tones. Then Manifest is totally the opposite. It's super acoustic. It's a much sort of softer sound. The songs are much more straightforward. It's a much more inviting album, and that was really like my attempt to re-engage with the world and stop kind of obsessing with my own battles, and kind of try to feel and love and re-enter the world and kind of recreate myself after putting myself back together. So they're two very different albums. And so now I'm working on my third record, and it's Jealousy. It's a three-track project, and I really just wanted to kind of release those because I'm taking a lot of time with this third project, because one, I'm really upgrading my sound. I'm really upgrading how I produce and record everything. But I'm also really taking my time. I'm making an art book and a lyric book and writing some essays to go along with it. And a lot of it is really, it's a lot about how we define ourselves, how we understand ourselves in the context of the larger world, and how we can, come to find our place in the world while we're constantly changing. So it's still a lot of self-definition, but in the larger context. So it's hard. It's like trying to grab water, trying to understand ourselves. So it's like I went through this whole process, and I still don't feel like I know who I am or why I'm here, other than to write songs about it.
And of course, we all learn as well. And once again, where can we find your music at?
My music is everywhere. I'm on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music and all of that. But my website is there too, and I have CDs of all of this on my website. I have a merch store there. I have T-shirts at brettgleason.com, just BRETTGLEASON. So I have my own little indie merch store set up there, and I love getting support.
Sounds great. We encourage everybody to go there afterwards. Once again, singer, songwriter, multi-talented Brett Gleason out of Brooklyn, New York, here on the Mike Wagner Show. A very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. And just a few more things. What else can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Brett?
That's a great question. I'm really looking to expand beyond just making music. Like I was saying, I'm really looking to start writing more, putting together more videos where I tell my story. I'm really looking to be more of a 360 artist, with music as being like my forward facing thing, but not just music. It's all about connecting and using all facets of art to do so. Music, video, text, images, everything.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing. Looking forward to that. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Brett?
Honestly, right now it's Amanda Palmer. She was from the Dresden Dolls, and she inspired me to start a Patreon, which is how I fund all of my music. It's how I connect with my main fan base. It's why I've rejected looking for a label or trying to be a part of the main industry at large, and just directly connect with my fans, my followers, and make music that we all want to hear and that we value, as opposed to what the industry dictates.
And that's a very good point. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Listen to yourself. Make the music that resonates with you, because everyone can tell when you're faking it.
That's a very good point. Once again, Brett Gleason, singer, songwriter, multi-talented out of Brooklyn, New York, and the Mike Wagner Show. Very big thank you for your time, Brett. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to him soon. And one more thing, would you like to play another tune first before we go?
Sure. Okay. I will play something from Jealousy then. So this is the one of the singles from Jealousy. It's called Second Guess. It's kind of a bit more of a rock tune. It's just about following your intuition and trusting yourself. So based off that last comment, why not?
Sounds very good.
Okay. Oops. Don't be so quick to second guess, hesitate, throw yourself under the bus to procreate. Don't pretend everybody else knows the way. We are all just making this up day by day. Why do you trust everyone but yourself? Why do you fall into pieces when everyone else is just as much to blame for all your supposed mistakes? Why do you constantly have to apologize? It's nothing that you did, just a feeling that you're despised. You can't change your ex, choose your feelings. Please don't ask them permission. Don't be so quick to second guess, hesitate, throw yourself under the bus to procreate. Don't pretend everybody else knows the way. We are just making this up day by day. Why do you bend over backwards and let them kick? Why do you volunteer for every punishment? Is it because you don't have any sense of purpose? Why do you forfeit your homeland territory? No longer the beautiful white flag of serenity. When you come prepared for a game, but they have come for a battle. Don't be so quick to second guess, hesitate, throw yourself under the bus to procreate. Don't pretend everybody else knows the way. We are not just making this up day by day. Don't be so quick to second guess, hesitate. Don't be the first to acquiesce and commentate. The people who would put you down and celebrate the demise that you won't help them negotiate. Second guess, self-negate. Second guess, self-negate. Oh wait. Second guess, self-negate. Second guess, self-negate. Second guess, self-negate. Second guess, self-negate. Wait. Second guess, self-negate. Second guess, self-negate yourself away.
Once again, the amazing Brett Gleason on the Mike Wagner Show. A very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward again soon. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your music?
Thank you so much. So, you can go to my website to grab to grab CDs, to grab any merch, or just to contact me, or even join my mailing list, and I'll send you, some behind the scenes stories and some free downloads, and even offer you a free CD if you're interested in just learning more. That's brettgleason.com. I have everything is on Spotify and YouTube. I have a bunch of music videos. Everything is on iTunes and Apple Music and all that. Though, you can grab CDs directly from me as well. I'd love to send those personally. I always throw in postcards and stickers. And I'm also, like I said, on Patreon, which is where people can support me directly through a subscription program. It's just like $1 a month, and all of that goes to fund all my music. You get all the music immediately whenever it's done, and you get private live streams and just all of the behind the scenes content that is not fit for social media.
That is so fantastic. Looking forward to it, Brett. You've been great and looking forward to having it soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on 2021 and beyond. And do us a favor, keep in touch. We'd love to have you back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun, Mike.